We're live now.
Oh,
Hey, hi, ya, hey, hey, ya, ya, hey, ya, hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey, hi, ya, 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 hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Fort Beck Community College, Ukiebino, yo, yo, me too, Gashi, Dagush, Kashka, Yogi, Piano, yo, yo, Wata, Pevi, Hagi, Ktabi, Ihachi, ya, Bino, hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey, hi, ya, hey, hi, ya, hey, ya, hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey, hi, ya, hey, hey, ya, yo. Hey, hi, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey, hi, ya, hey, hi. Hey, hi, ya, hey, hi, ya, hey, hi, ya, hey, hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Fort Beck Community College, Ugiebino, yo, yo, me too, Gashi, Dagush, Kashka, Yogi, Piano, yo, yo, Wata, Pevi, Hagi, Ktabi, Ihachi, ya, Bino, hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey, hi, ya, hey, hi, ya, hey, ya, hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey, hi, ya, hey, hey, ya, yo. Hey, ya, hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo. Hey, hi, ya, hey, hi, hey,
Nice water.
hey, hi, ya. Hey, hi, ya, hey, hey, ho, hey, oh, hey, oh, hey, oh. Fort Beck Community
Nice
College,
water.
Ukiebino, yo, yo. Me too, Gashi, Dagush, Kashka, Yogi, Piano, yo, yo. Wata, Pepe, Hagik tabi ihachi ya bino. Hey yo, hey yo. Hey ha ya, hey ha ya, hey ya, hey ha yo, hey yo, hey yo. Hey ha ya, hey ya, yo. Hey ya, hey ha yo, hey yo, hey yo. Hey ha ya, hey ha, hey ha ya, hey ha ya, hey ha ya, hey ya, hey ha, hey yo, hey yo, hey yo. Fort Peck Community College, Ukiebino, yo, yo. Me too, Gashi, Dagush, Kashka, Yogi, Piano, yo, yo. Wata, Pepe, Hagi, Tabi, Ihachi, ya, Bino. Hey, 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 yo.
right. Mic check 1, 2. Right.
Oh,
Kakiapi.
that.
Okay. Diane Wachia Kapido. Elijah Hopkins Demie. I want to thank everybody for joining us on the Buffalo Chasers podcast. All I can say is we're back. That's right. Here we are after about 3-4 month hiatus. I want to
Yeah.
thank everybody for coming back and joining us. Again, Elijah Hopkins. We got actually Tommy Christian and actually Earl Bullhead are in the house here. So I want to thank them for joining us. And so with that, I want to give a thank you to Fort Peck Community College, our president, the board of directors, in a good way for hooking us up and supporting our podcast. We want to welcome all of our students back for the fall 2022 semesters here at Fort Peck Community College. We have a lot of cool activities lined up this year, but as far as our podcast goes, we're back. We're going to be doing it probably at least once a month, maybe a little bit more. But so with that, again, thank both of you gentlemen for coming here today and helping us out with our podcast and our Okola Gichie in a good way. So what do you think, Dexy Tommy, Dexy Earl, can we start off with a prayer in a good way? If Dexy Earl, if you are able, we'll check ya yakakapi oyaki hiha.
I don't have my dentures and the grandkids accidentally cleaning out the car and they threw my dentures away. So but
Yeah.
I'll try anyway. No problem.
What's that?
Mitake. Wana akele. Pete wakacha uyaka meleliwa wakana he. Wopila chiche. So he's hokap sinai only a tuaka hena. Wochika nicham sahena kiksio yankam. So tuaka hena na hakche he. Dila wota he. Utake wazagach papke hena hakche hena. Kiksio yohayan kapke hena. Wochika tag. Nana hona hena ukiaye. Na kua kichi ta ukitap kena hona ukikso yapicha he ija wochika tag. Hena hona hena ukiaye. Ukana uchi hena ukija hena teo khalap chaka go he ija wochika tag na hona hena ukiaye. Chakokuka na hakchi he Hoka wakajo kit kap hinachche hena o hena uyukcha ushkamcha he o le woche ke ta te na naso nu pia ta he tanko uyukcha banta kukuka yuka bazo ke hena o pila tsanka so he tsanka shila he tate topa ta ka na hoye hena kaya etka e ya he tsanka shila Ushio kapie ho mitakio ase.
Oh, beautiful prayer, Dexy Earl. So I was visiting with Dexy Tommy over the summer a little bit last week and then today, and it looks like we had maybe a topic in mind, like a welcoming back type topic or whatever, and then there was a gentleman we were going to invite, and then I think there's some technical difficulties happening, but I know you guys have a lot to share with us. So Dokadi Duk Champid, what do you think?
Oh, what's that? I'm a talk yippee daya yippee head to hello. Nah, one night okay, barely though, but I'm here. I'm betukile mi chante to galake na ha na pe choose up fellow. Oh he chaje mi ta omni shage doba ima chapi. Ushimalo omakian agna gupta. All my relatives, and again, as we come together and starting off on our podcast, we realize and recognize maybe we just go once a month or twice a month or something like that. And that's not going to be every week this year, but we're going to stay hooked up because that COVID isn't so prevalent now. So we don't have to, we could visit face to face even and all that good stuff too. But we had a good summer, a good time, a lot of busy stuff. I know Che was pretty busy too. And another guy sitting there, he had COVID 3 times. That guy, hey, cover your mouth, wash your hands or something. But yeah, and again, he just kind of hung in there. He must be a tough guy. Gee, Leila Ohitika. He's brave. He get out there and go amongst them, but he works with kids. So, but anyway, we made it through the summer. That's my point, I guess. And as we do these things, we understand the importance. We wanted to talk with Jerome Killspotted today to kind of have him have a little input about. We were talking about Iescas, me and my older brother here. We were talking about Iescas and how we could apply that principle the other way, because everybody's trying to learn the language, eh? And Jerome, he was talking with Jerome, and Jerome said, well, they used to do that for the medicine man speaking to the white people, and they would take the Dakota and translate it into English for them, but it had to be somebody of prominence, eh? That Iesca, like they would take English and put it in Dakota for the people. Well, we want to put Dakota into English for the white people, for the purpose of generating a little bit more interest and motivation into the language. I know that Chie Earl is going to put a presentation on down at Tuswecha language conference in respects to some of these things, and he wanted me to help him out too as it relates to from a dancer's perspective. I know enough about the language that I could understand the songs, and when they sing them, there's a certain style and certain manner that you would need to dance, and I would win all the time, and people didn't understand how I do that. Well, I listened to the songs, and especially if they were Dakota, Lakota, or Nakona songs, I would listen and I know what they were saying, and I would kind of interpret that song as I felt it. And a lot of the young folks, they didn't know how I was doing that, but that was a little something I kept to myself just for the sake of being competitive, if you will, for lack of a better word. But you know, I think that is also an understanding or a motivation to get involved into our cultural value system, because powwow is so open, it's so inviting, and you don't have to be good at it, you don't have to be this, but you can participate, that active involvement, and just like your daughter Toshka, oh man. And so they come in like that, and it introduces them to our cultural value system, and then from that, and then we start developing these different avenues of approach on how to really pursue what their interest is. If it's just dancing, yeah, that's okay. If it's just language, yes, that's okay too. But check it out. If you mix them, bring them together and incorporate them, oh man, it just adds so much to that whole venue of cultural activity, eh? And then so as we do this, that's what we were going to talk about today. What happened to Jerome Chie? Did you hear me? Chie, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can't you hear me? Well, you got your earplugs in? You got your earphones in? Can you hear? Say something, see if he can hear you.
Oh, Earl.
Ah,
Oh,
I can hear you.
Namaya. Oh, watch that. Yeah,
Can
he
you hear me?
Can you hear
Can you hear
Tommy?
me?
I can hear Tommy too.
Oh,
Okay. What happened to Jerome? Remember we were going to talk about that thing that Fool's Crow used to do, have that interpreter for the English people? What happened to him?
Jerome?
Yeah.
oh, he must not be able to understand you. But I think what Tommy was trying to say is, what happened to Jerome? Was he not able to join us today, Earl?
Well, he's been notified. He was told to contact you.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay.
But anyway, going along with that, that's what we were attempting to do, to really kind of take it to the next level of understanding as it relates to being a little bit more actively involved in what it is we're trying to do. Because I know on the 16th, the staff here is going to take on a little bit more responsibility and gaining understanding of
I hear him.
our value system, and trying to incorporate that, because a lot of our students are still actively involved in these dysfunctional characteristics of that learned behavior. Like they get really demanding, and they got this attitude of entitlement, they're losing sight of, for the sake of representing not only themselves, but their family, their tribe, and their community. They're losing sight of that. And if you really understand the white buffalo, when she brought that bundle, that's what happened way back in the day. That's why that bundle was brought, is because people were losing contact with the manner in which they chose to go to this higher power or the spiritual energy. They were losing sight of that. And again, for us to really be conscious of our responsibilities to the center and that inclusive attitude, I think we need to continue as an institution to really promote that. You see what I'm saying, Toshka? And it's really important that we continue that attitude, but even not just from us three, but from afford everybody an opportunity. Because if you think about it, that responsibility does lie on us. And so now we should go out and make this awareness available to as many people as we can, so that they can become culturally responsive to our way of life when need be. And they don't have to be a medicine man or an Indian or anything like, but just reciprocate the respect we've afforded them for all these years. And it's not demanding or telling them to do it. We're just presenting them an opportunity in their own way, based on to go beyond that fear of themselves and not be arrogant or anything like that, but just to be able to sit there and understand in our deliberate way, we do things a little bit differently, and recognizing that diversity, and then being able to sit there and pray with us, because I know they use the word prayer, now that's what we use. We speak in that spiritually energized manner when we cry for the sake of others. It's a heartfelt cry for the sake of others. That's what you think our prayer is, but actually it's a way in which, an avenue in which we develop, where we go to the spiritual energy for the sake of others. And in that, we realize that to be that strong, to kind of share like that, you have to be really secure and comfortable with oneself to be able to be courageous enough to do that. But that's something that we need to make aware of the people, that diversity that we represent. We don't think we're better. We don't think
Jerome, call Jerome.
We think we're just common, and that means Indians, women and men, and just a common attitude, more like an attitude about who and what we are. So what do you think of that, Chie? Can you hear me now?
Yeah, well, I can hear you.
So what do you think of what I just shared with you guys? That's what I think could set the stage for this next session of our podcast, where we go forward, kind of take it to the next level of understanding, You think?
Oh, yeah. I think one of the essential keys in that approach is to get people to get over being what they call wishtecha.
Well, yeah.
We have people that understand the language.
They won't say nothing. Yeah.
They won't speak it.
Yeah.
And that ingrained behavior is part of the colonization that people speak of. But it takes a certain kind of personality or character to realize, that if you want to learn, you got to make the effort,
Yeah.
It's not going to come easy. And so we have a lot of foreigners speaking our language because they want to learn.
Mm-hmm.
They take it upon themselves. And so we have people working on our reservation that speak the language better than a lot of us,
Yeah.
Because if they exercise it, and it's in their mind, they're contemplating it all the time. My biggest concern right now is proper pronunciation.
Oh.
We need to really focus on intonation and how we speak to each other. When you're in a natural word, it's a rhythm to the language, and that, how would you call it, that spirit in the language that will come part, enables you to feel comfortable speaking, It just comes natural. That is what we got to strive for. to be in that natural environment.
Instead of sounding
so-
like Kevin Costner. What?
Yeah. All right. And so that media in many cases has kind of lapped over to people, and the mispronunciation of names and the sounds of, they go into another word without realizing what it means, you know.
Yeah.
That just by changing one diacritic sound on there, they end up changing the word.
Yeah.
And so many people do it, it becomes normal. You know, like the word wakan itself. It's, you know, people say wakan, you know.
You?
Yeah. You know, it's supposed to be wakan. And even our
Oh.
word tatanka, which is natural for us, some people say tatanka. And we're getting a lot of that because the influence of somebody who set that precedent for that word.
Yeah.
Or the way they read it in school.
Yeah.
The alphabet and all this that they learned in school is now written in a language without diacritics. And the diacritics are so significant and important, you know, that we have to keep pronouncing the words for them. And in a singular context, in a sentence context, story context, however we can get it to the kids at a level in which they can start developing that rhythm with the language.
Yeah.
And so we work on that every day at school so these kids can kind of flow with the language, you know. And so we
Yeah.
incorporate dancing and we incorporate singing, and that's the joy. You know, we're moved by sound, color, and song. That's our
Yeah.
spirit. You know?
Yeah.
That's what motivates us. That's why everybody's attracted to it. And it's a very positive and powerful experience. We go through that with our whistles and all that stuff that comes into play. But yet we, somewhere along the line, the protocol and etiquette that comes along with it, they have forgotten about it. A good example is that when I went out and spoke to gentlemen, the older people that are the keepers of songs, I went and visited and told them that I wanted to learn these songs so people will not forget them. And so it wasn't until 4 years later that these old guys called me and said, come on down, we want to sing those songs for you.
Yeah.
And so they
Patience,
figure out
yeah.
who you are, the credit or who you are, or if you have the demeanor to be able to be a person like that, to carry on.
Carry those songs.
So- Yeah. And so it's an awesome responsibility. What's happening is that now it's all put out there for them to learn from, but they forgot the proper etiquette, the protocol, and they don't give people the right credit.
They don't know the
You know?
history. Yeah, the history.
Yeah. You think it's now we can do something with this.
Yeah.
Which you look at it in a positive way, that's okay. But don't forget, here's an example. I was given a right to do a specific song. And when a person in North Dakota, Burdick, passed away, which his Indian name was Black Bear. For some reason, I knew that this particular song that was popular for honoring people who have gone on. So I started walking away from it because I knew they didn't know.
Yeah.
And so I started going. When I was just about ready to get into my tent, you know, Mr. Jerome Cottonwood said, hey, Tanashi, or they're calling you, they're depending on you.
Mhm.
And so I turned around because what he said to me, in that manner, how he said it, all right, out of respect, I turned around, I went back, and they call all the head singers into the center. And so when I approached him, I said, have you guys decided what song to sing? And they said, there are different ones. And they said that Shea Wa'u, that was a
Oh,
very popular song, you know,
Yeah.
Shea Wa'u.
I
Right?
mean, cry.
That song was composed for a family of Standing Rock.
Yeah.
Right? And the mother of that grandchild gave me the right to use that song wherever I saw fit. And so there was a reason why that event came to me as that way, because it kept me in balance. Because
Yeah.
I knew exactly, like I knew that what song they were gonna choose, right? So anyway, so when I got back and I says, well, we can use that song because I've been given the right.
Oh,
I have the right to, so the job got done or the honoring took place. But that protocol and that etiquette oftentimes is not taken care of.
for
There are
certain songs,
instances
not
where,
all songs, eh, bro?
yeah,
For certain
well,
songs,
yeah,
not all songs.
certain songs.
Yeah.
And there are songs that were put together by my wife's adopted son. And the songs that he made, people were using them left and right. And they're still doing it today. And no proper credit be given.
Yeah.
Now, a couple of times I've heard announcers say that particular song was composed by so and so, and giving credit, and that's the way it should be.
Oh,
Or the family knowing about this and the song being used. Like this past weekend, there was a song on Wakpala, a song that was used that I made for the school. They sang it, so I took it upon myself to give them a little bit of change so they can get coffee and a
$5. Yeah.
sandwich.
Yeah.
Whatever. So that practice is going away with our
Yeah.
songs. So getting people to be aware that there is protocol and etiquette involved in it. Do not ignore that.
Yeah.
Because historically, people who have done the work, who have been there before, need to be recognized.
Yeah.
That's
Because
history.
that's the way, Leela here, honey, that's the way they would do it. The individual wouldn't get upset. They wouldn't get chazeka or upset about it. They go up and they donate $5 to that drum for singing that song. And then they share the history of that song.
Yeah.
Now they just arbitrarily, they just sing it and think they can get away with it, eh? But that's the way it was done at one time. They used to get up and I know that history of that song. That's my song. And then you'd go to the Apaha or go directly to the drum like you did and give them $5 and share with them the history of that song. That's what they're not doing now. They're getting so fast. They live so fast now.
Yeah.
They don't have the time to do that. And see, that expression of respect is why people think we're so stupid and we're so apathetic about stuff and we don't do nothing about all. No. It's out of respect that we don't do nothing. And of course we'll fix it at some point in time. Like we're trying to accentuate the positive in this regard as it relates to those history of those songs and the history of the dances, the history of why we do what we do, so that they can again respect the origins of not only the songs but the dances. We did the drum, remember, so that they understood the history of the drum and where that came from. Utilize that. We made a drum. We did that so people will have an opportunity to understand exactly how that all came about. It's just something we just took upon ourselves to do. That is the result of a dream, and that came on. So now we need to do that. It just like what you're saying, Che, with this perspective of singing and some of the protocol that goes along with some songs, not all of them, because some of them are just social songs, like they sing and they could do that. But there's certain songs that the hocha, like my older brother here, he understands all that stuff, and that's the responsibility of the hocha. And then the hochapi, they help him once he explains it to them, so that they understand what it is that they're singing and why they're singing it and where it came from. And it puts that spirit back into that song. It gives that
Exactly.
energy. Yeah, it gives that energy back to the song. And then they have that understanding.
Spirit of song.
Mhm.
We just got off the phone with Jerome, and he says, okay, on the way to the office ASAP. I'll be on it in 10 minutes. So
Okay, well,
He's-
we'll have a few
he's-
minutes
he's-
left. We're about done in 10
Yeah.
minutes.
Oh,
That's
gee.
okay.
But maybe we could hook him up if he gets on, he gets the time right. We can hook him up next week, you know? Because
Yeah,
we're going to continue to pursue this because it's important about some of these motivating factors, especially about the language. Like I was sharing with my older brother, I said, the language I speak, I taught myself that. Nobody taught me how. And so I catch heck all the time for some of the words I utilize and the manner in which I speak it. I speak like a white guy speaking the language because I got that all backwards, eh? But in that, that's what I'm saying is like, that's how I utilize my older brother, Nietzsche Ole. Like they'll speak the language. I kind of get the gist of the conversation, but he'll explain it to me, eh? And I say, oh, okay, yeah. And so kind of like that. And so from that, I can follow the language, but I can't speak it as well as I would like to, eh? So I speak what I know, just like my uncle Shep would tell me. He said, you speak as much as you know whenever you can. And he spoke about that
Yeah.
enunciation. He said, you got to practice the enunciation because your tongue gets so used to talking English. He said, it's not the same, eh? It's not the same as speaking English, your tongue and your guttural sounds and all that good stuff. And it's different. He would share that with me. So, yeah, so I catch heck all the time, but I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep talking it. Oh,
you gotta be
Kola.
chleter.
Wanna
There we
clip
go,
it?
there we
Oh, do all that, as if. But we're just about done here, Jerome. But
Okay.
and then when are we gonna go on again, Toshka?
We haven't really picked the time. Probably we were gonna do it just the first week in of the month, but then last week we pushed it back, and so. But then the first week in October, I was gonna head over to Tuswecha. I don't know if
Yeah.
we should wait or what, but pretty soon we could probably do one at the end of the month or middle part of October. We'll figure it out.
Okay, and then we'll just get in touch with you, Jerome. But stay here, stay
Okay.
with us, and then. But it's good to
All
see you.
right.
Kola. Dokin
Yeah,
yao.
you too.
But yeah, stay with us, and then because we only got like 10 minutes left to go, and
Okay.
Earl kept talking and talking. Correct, he wouldn't let us get a word in
Oh.
edgewise.
Heerlijk,
Hey.
yeah.
Daar hier Kola.
Aha.
Dokje dawo.
I'm near Yankton,
Oh, huh. Oh.
Yankton, South Dakota.
Uh-huh. That's where he was from, Tushka.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
you had it
Yeah,
right.
Utica, actually.
Oh.
UTICA.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay. So
It's not a
Jerome,
prison.
yeah, Jerome, maybe you could introduce yourself and just kind of let everybody, because we're on live, eh? We're on Facebook Live. Introduce yourself.
Okay.
And let them know who you are, where you're
Okay.
from.
Yeah, I'm Jerome Kiltsmall. I'm from Porcupine, South Dakota, Pine Ridge Reservation. But I moved over here. I bought a home over here, centralized in this part of the state to serve at Santee, Flandreau, Yankton Reservation, Lake Andes, Lower Brule, Fort Thompson. All those, I go to help them with
Oh.
education,
That's it.
stories, and things like that. And I go to Omaha too.
Mhm.
Omaha and a lot of towns in Nebraska and South Dakota. I'm a storyteller, so I get invited
Hmm.
to a lot of places. And, so it helps me to live.
Oh,
I'm
that's it.
retired, but I could live.
Mhm.
And so that's the main thing. Yeah, I have a lot of cats, dogs, and birds. I got parrots and cockatiel and parakeets. And we got plants. We got a lot of plants here.
Oh, that's
And
that.
so we're kind of like, we're earth people.
Oh,
We know there's a positive energy.
that's
That's the way we are.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
got a
it's-
polyglot, a cracker too.
that old parrot will be saying that to you. Polly, what a crack. Azuya bisuta watching. Next. But no, Jerome, we'll welcome him. We'll welcome you on, and again through those things, like we're trying to really perpetuate this cultural value system under natural law, and I'm sure you understand that. And it's for the college kids, eh? It's for the college kids, so we can really introduce them into our way of life, our way of thought, our way of speaking, and we just want them to understand the importance of our ability to be coexistent, say, together, you know, Gichi, and help them. What's that? And the importance of, and the value system, just the basic fundamentals we went through all last year, like the family unit and all that good stuff. But this year, we're going to try to take them to the next level to where they understand a little bit more about the protocol, some of the things they can do personally on their own, how to manage the land, how to take care of it, how to care for your dogs, your cats, your birds, your plants, because we're nature people, eh? And in that prospect, just really have a personal perspective, promoting what they call a critical thought, eh? For these young people. They have their own mind. They can think of these things in a more positive way, kind of like that. So you'll really be a positive force with us. But this is my Toshka, Elijah Hopkins. He's the main guy here. He's the vice president of our college, but he really pushes. He's really interested in the language too. So he helps out. And so here the Khoriapi, the Khoriaunste, and so anyway. As he does these, he's really likes the language, how we utilize it, how we apply it towards different things and whatnot. But he's one of the big dogs up here at the college, and he's really committed to helping us out. And so we want to do this in a good way, and just for the sake of the students, so that they understand they live on a reservation. So the basis and the foundation should be from a Dakota, Lakota, Nakona perspective, eh? So that's just. But without telling them, it's still their choice, eh, if they want to be that way. So So Hechatuel Daya he Hooka hey. Oh, that's good to see you.
We'll see you again. Just let me know the date again. I had to be at I was at the vet. For my cats and dogs. So that's kind of late.
Well, that's all right. You're still here. You got on. That's the main thing. Me and Earl, we had a tough time getting on too, but you're here, so channel.
Maybe I'll talk with Earl and Tommy, and then I'm glad you're here. And then maybe next week, or we'll figure out a time that works for everybody.
Let's take this.
See, he said that. You like that, eh?
Yeah, I'm really interested to listen to that guy too. I like listening to old guys. You guys know lots, so it'll be good to meet that guy someday. Hopefully he can go over to Tuswecha too.
Yeah. Well, we're just about done, so I gotta hit the door. Remember, I gotta go check the environment over there.
Environmental impact study.
I gotta do that. Today's the day, but
all right. Well, Wopida Chichiapido. I appreciate you guys for joining us today, and we'll do it again next week for our Buffalo Chaser Society. And again, I want to thank our students for joining us on the webinar, and all of you that are following us on Facebook. I forgot to give us on the plug at the beginning of our little podcast here. Give us a like, give us a share on our Facebook live stream, and we'll put your name in the hat next week. We'll do a drawing. We have Buffalo Chasers jackets with our embroidered logo and some other goodies and stuff. So we want to encourage participation. So with that, Dokshta ke Dohanduka.
Oh, Dohanduka. You like that? Chie, Dohanduka.